Today is April 12th, 2019. It marks my 91st day, 13th week here in Mauritius, and I'm presently at the Mauritius Institute of Education, where I come 4 to 5 days a week. I teach in the mornings here, and I've been doing conversation classes in the afternoons in 3 different cities. They've been going very well. We've been having a lot of rain here, even some floods in some regions of Mauritius, so that's been a bit intense. We even have, I'm used to snow days in New York, but here we have rain or flash flood days, or cyclone days. We haven't had any very intense cyclones. A lot of the cyclones have been more in Rodrigue. There's also a really intense flood in Mozambique. So far, Mauritius has not been very affected by cyclones this year, but definitely by floods. So you can hear there's a lot of wind up here, so I'll just move myself a little bit away from the wind. I wanted to just give a couple of updates in regards to life in Mauritius. For starters, I'll have my first visitor coming, so that'll be good. And hopefully some relatives may come later in May. And we're working on starting to make our second annual English language conference, and the one that happened last year occurred in a city called Kirpeep, and it was very successful. I think there was around 150 people who actually went. Now, what I'd like to do a bit different this year is I'd like my focus, or our focus, because it's not about me, to be about inclusion. So I'm hoping to have maybe a 1 to 2 day conference, and one day would be more focused on inclusion for the primary and pre-primary levels, and the second day would be more focused on secondary. And particularly interested in the topic of inclusion because I guess you could say it's a hot topic. It's a topic that is really up and happening just globally, and even here in Mauritius they have these courses within high schools and as well in the tertiary level, and they're called extension courses, and these are kind of catch-up courses for students who had some trouble in the regular education stream. So ways of teaching English specifically to those students has to be a very interesting and, I'd say, engaging approach, mostly because you don't always have the same way of teaching that you would with other students, where you just give information, and not all the time, but often information could be more in the rote format. And that's not just in Mauritius, that's many countries. We have it in America a bit, but having so far done about 13 or 14 interviews with different fellows, a lot of them have discussed the same issue of rote memorization in the school system, which I guess kind of counteracts creativity in a way. So one of the things that I'm working on is making creativity more normalized. And it's not that people are not creative in different countries. I think that when we have certain tasks that don't necessarily encourage creativity, it's harder for them to see the point of doing it when your whole identity is just a grade. So it's something that I've been working on in terms of what kinds of tasks am I asking my students to do in the university, and as well with the high school level students, so that they really feel motivated and they also see themselves in the task. I was teaching my students about this week actually, about culturally relevant pedagogy, which I actually had not heard of, which was interesting to me because every school system and every country has its own value system as well. And no value is better than the other, but I think that in the global world we live in, we should be able to share our different values so that, you know, the values of Mauritius can help improve America, and the values of America can help improve Mauritius, and the values of China can help Egypt improve, and the values of Egypt. So every country should have certain values that they have already internalized in their culture. And the question here is, how do these different value-based systems influence each other in different countries so that we can improve? Because I think that understanding the value of talking about values is important. It's actually why here in Mauritius they've made this 9-year schooling curriculum, which aims at not just making education about grades, but also about your ability to relate to yourselves or relate to others, and your ability to be a leader, and your ability to adjust to 21st century skills that you'll need for future jobs that may not even exist in Mauritius presently. So I have really been interested in social emotional learning and bringing that element into my classes. I've actually been collaborating with another colleague here, and we created this ruler. It's going to be in English and Creole and Hindi and French and other languages in the future as well. And it's a ruler that goes from 0 to 8, and it overviews some of the main emotions that students, whether they're children, teenagers or adults or teachers, everyone goes through these emotions every single day of their life, or every week, or every month. And what happens often in Mauritius is you ask someone, how are you? And they may just respond, happy, okay, when underneath the surface there's something else happening. So one of the ways that we've been thinking around making students' identities more important is to create a time for them to express themselves every day in terms of their identity and emotions that are within them, and to really create a space for acceptance. And also, after they know what they're facing, they can learn some skills such as breathing techniques or positive self-talk or connecting with classmates, which will enable them to relate better to themselves, express themselves more clearly, and to kind of work through whatever is holding them back. I like to use the metaphor of garbage because we talk about throwing our garbage out every day. We talk about cleaning our teeth every day, taking a shower, all these routines that we do. But one of the routines that we're missing, and no one really teaches kids how to do this, or adults, is mental hygiene. How do we take care of ourselves? How do we work with emotions that come up that we don't necessarily want? Do we just fight them? Right? When you fight a negative, it becomes a negative. It becomes even more negative. It fights back at you. Or do you just ignore it, pretend it's not there, and it just kind of grows? And I think that one of the skills in social emotional learning, and I've actually been reading a lot about it in this ruler approach, which was developed by Yale University, is to identify what's inside of yourself, to recognize that, to give it space, and then to see the choices that you can make to either exacerbate, make that feeling worse, or to alleviate, make that feeling better. And it's a very important life skill. I know that Daniel Goleman talked about emotional intelligence as well, and the fact that your success in life is not only related to information that you memorize, but also your ability to work with yourself and your own emotions, and to collaborate with others. Because in the world that we live in presently, it's not just, oh, I got a really good grade, I'm successful. It's maybe I studied with tutors to get a really good grade, or I collaborated with classmates. Because once you leave school, life is all about collaboration. Even in school, it's about collaboration. But outside of school, when you go into the work world, you have to work with all different types of people. People you like, people you don't like. You have to work with all different types of emotions. And you have to go through the day-to-day life and function. And I think that when we teach kids to do this at a younger age, they're more successful and they're able to be more resilient and have a growth mindset. So resilience is your ability to bounce back when there's challenges in your life, and growth mindset is your capacity to see the potential that you have in any moment. And even if you're not good, instead of saying I'm not good, you could say I'm improving or I'm working on. So really, it's related a little bit to this neurolinguistic concept of the words that we make create the world that we have in the way that we think. So we have to be really aware of the words and the thinking processes and patterns that we choose to engage in. So that's a little bit of the social emotional world that I'm hoping to develop here. And they have a lot of it already, but I think that I have a certain way of communicating, and some other colleagues as well have different ways of communicating, and we're all trying to work on how we can communicate with our students, because I love the activity of just getting people's attention by clapping. Clap, 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 and then my students do clap, 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 clap. There's a really good mirroring opportunity for me to tune in and get at the same level as them, and they get at the same level as me, and we mirror each other, right? And that is what education is. That is what knowledge is you give information, and you say clap, 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 and then the students respond by clap, 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 or others are just talking, they're not even clapping. And then what is our responsibility as teachers? To tune in to all of the people there, all the learning styles, all the needs, all the attention spans. And like throwing a net, we throw the net and we try to get everyone in to that one net. And it does not work. So we have to recast the net in a new way. So instead of clap, 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 it could just be clap, clap, and then everyone responds. These are call and response ways of getting attention, but also tuning into our students' needs, which has to happen at the baseline before you can go to giving information. And then having them repeat back what is the information that you said, for instance, such a task. And that has to happen before they start working on the task, to actually reaffirm that the information that went out of your mouth into their ears, into their minds, was processed properly and went out of their mouth back into your ears, so that it's a positive feedback loop and that everyone's on the same page. So I'm looking forward to having a little break, because it's been a lot of classes. I have 8 classes, and that is my updates on 3 months, 91 days in Mauritius. I also, on the personal level, want to hopefully learn some more Hindi. I haven't done a lot of that. I've just been very involved with teaching. I haven't even gone kite surfing. I have the gear. I need to find transportation or rent a car or do something to make that happen. And I joined a pool. Been going every morning. That's absolutely amazing. Because if we don't take care of our body, our mind will revolt. With eating, I've been eating some good curries here, but I'm still trying to not eat too much heavy food, because the heavier I eat, the hungrier I feel after, which is strange. You think you eat more, you need less food, but somehow eating more makes me want to eat more. So those are some personal and professional updates on 91 days in Mauritius, and I look forward to the next video. Have a wonderful morning, afternoon, and evening, and I'm definitely gonna post a link of all my podcasts so you can check them out that I've done the interviews. I'm up to about 26 podcasts, so check them out. Take care.